what's going on? Welcome to Drama Free Gaming.
Game.
I had
That's
a
what it is,
had a
right?
senior
Are we still
moment here.
gaming?
I was like, is this Drama Free Gaming or am I doing
Are we
something?
even gaming? Are we gaming?
Brother, it's I think you said it before we launched. It's been a long week. I couldn't wait, man. And I'm off tomorrow, so today's Friday for me.
Good for you.
Yeah, man. I need a break. I need to go shoot something. That's what I'm gonna go do tomorrow. So
Uh,
welcome to Drama Free Gaming. It is what it says, and it says what it is. It's been a minute. I think it's the reason why. But we're here. We're live once again, as you can see on the panel, the cast, the usual suspects we have tonight, minus Dark Dad. Dark Dad gave me a call and he said he was not going to be able to show up, and he's wrestling with the Munchkins and whatnot. So let me just introduce, and then I'll get all the other niceties out of the way. But we got Henyo and we got Sleek in the house. What's going on, Henyo? Talk to us for a bit.
so what's up, man? I thought Dark Dad was out playing Tecmo soccer, so that's why he couldn't join us tonight. But
Like in real life.
yeah, in this 8-bit world,
Oh man.
but we're glad to be here. Amen.
Yeah, man. Good to have you, bro. I'm glad you can join up. I thought for a moment there was gonna be a one-man show. But it's all good. Sleek, say what's up to the people, man.
What's happening? Just sitting here playing, old school Threads of Fate.
Sleek has been on a tear this week on our Discord. And if you guys haven't checked out our Discord, there is an invite there in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. Go check us out, man. We're just, a community of gamers and whatnot. And this is like our bowling night. I think I mentioned it last week, right? Where we look forward to like taking off our shoes and putting on some, bacteria-infected shoes and throwing a ball down an alley and knocking some pins and all that. We're just having fun, man. But Sleek, you've been on a tear, man. What have you been? What's up with the RPG? Like, just tear that you've been on. What's up? What's gotten into you?
Well, I was just looking at all the new games coming out. I saw that there's a lot of RPGs coming, and I was like, you know what? I miss, some of the greatest that I used to play, and still to this day they hold out. So I said, let's go back and play Final Fantasy 3 or 6, and I can't stop. The nostalgia just came back, and
Hmm.
remembering
It, it,
everything, and
is it
I
loading
can't
out?
stop.
Is it loading out the attributes to these characters that you create, or is it just the whole winding through the town and talking to people and hacking and slashing? Like what is
So
the gameplay that you keep going back to? Like what is it?
so it's hard to explain because with Final Fantasy, the specific one I'm currently playing, I've beaten a few of them, and it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, this one came out. So it came out Final Fantasy 3 in the US, Super NES, and it was like the first Final Fantasy I beat and played. That back then, obviously, I went around to the town talking to everyone, trying to figure out, how to do certain things. It took me forever, but now because I remember, and I'm sure when you guys pop in, you realize you see how fast I'm going through the menus.
Mm-hmm.
I already know the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and I pretty much remember a good chunk of everything. Right now, just like the battling. I mean, that turn-based battle is just so. I mean, it's
That's
super
classic.
repetitive. Yeah, but it's just like it hits home.
Yeah,
It's where I
it's
belong
definitely a
in a
classic.
battle.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you kind of reminded me of playing these RPGs in which I'm just not, for you it would be a speed run because you know the storyline and you know who to go to first to talk to. But for me, it'd be like just get the dialogue out the way and continue on to the battle scene. So it's funny we will play this game the same way, but like in different what's the what's the word, like with
Just
different
different approaches.
intentions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
different
Yeah,
approach,
yeah,
different
yeah.
intent. Yeah.
like I'm clicking next on the dialogue to get through it, and
Yeah.
he's clicking it because he knows already what.
I mean, you can
Oh
tell
yeah,
that Sleek was just going through the menus, and until he didn't say something to me in our conversation, pre-show, that he was using a keyboard because he was moving real fast through the menus, and I was like, "Ain't
Hmm.
no way he's doing this with a controller," because all you heard was click, 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 click. I mean, that's literally what you heard, like back and forth in the menus, and it was just. I mean, you know what? Honestly, it made actually watching an RPG gameplay that much more enjoyable because his familiarity just kept things moving. It wasn't like, it would have been you or me, Henyo. We would have probably, like you said, been there and talking to everyone in town and looking for this, looking for that. But Sleek was just going here and there, and you knew that he was so familiar and so comfortable with the game. It was enjoyable. I really did have a blast with that. So,
Yeah, we
what?
had a funny moment with one of his characters using a chainsaw.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was pretty funny.
I had to take a second look because I was like, "What is that he's spinning around like that?" And yeah, it was a chainsaw. So pretty cool. I'll be
yeah.
honest. I had not seen like any. I don't think any of the Final Fantasy games actually played through. So that was my first like exposure to Final Fantasy RPG games, the old school retro games, not the newer, the modern ones today. So
Mhm.
Right.
what's your preference, Sleek? I mean, do you play the modern ones now and enjoy them just as much as you do the retro ones?
Um. So because of I have them all on PlayStation, but because Game Pass is obviously so accessible now on all the Final Fantasies, I have downloaded them and I have played them.
Mm-hmm.
And there's certain things I like and there's certain things I don't like, but there's just something uh, to me personally for whatever reason, like when I just see like a PS1 RPG, right, or Super NES, Nintendo, it's just something that the graphics aren't like refined, if that makes sense, right?
Right.
They're just there's just something about those pixels that are like
Mhm.
beautiful and they jump out at me. I mean, nowadays video games like yeah, you can see them, right? They're beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but how many problems do you have with something where you're focused on gameplay rather than putting all your time and effort into um, the graphics? Where I'm not gonna say every game nowadays, but let's be honest, right? Modern day graphics are hands down beautiful. They're keeping up with all this resolution, whatnot. I mean, you can play Final Fantasy 3 on an old TV
Right. Right.
with composite kit, and it's still gonna look,
Yeah.
it's still gonna look the same, give or take. I mean, they have put out a version where it's like I kind of don't like the graphics. I'm torn on it, but like a HD cartoony feel.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but same, like pretty much same gameplay, just about. So
Right.
I don't know, just something about just the older graphics.
I mean, it begs the discussion here since we're already on topic, and I got Sleek in kind of the driver's seat here, and I'm just gonna take advantage of him before like he completely mutes himself. But it begs the discussion, right, as to these games. We call them, and other people might agree, other people might disagree. It's okay. Some of these games are works of art. Like literally, you have stuff that's hand drawn. It's not computer generated. And so some of these games are, mosaic. They are picturesque in the sense of they've been hand drawn, they've been crafted in such a way. Well, one of the things that grips me, and gripped me while you was playing Sleek, was the music. As simple as it is, the playlist, when you enter towns, when you're in combat, when you're exploring dungeons, uh it's constantly there, and it's almost as hypnotizing as the actual gameplay. You know what I mean? And I don't know if you
Oh,
guys like agree with me on that, but yeah, the score of some of these older games or retro games, it kind of ties in everything that you're doing, and it's there and it's constant, and sometimes you forget it's there and sometimes it's at the forefront.
Yep.
Okay.
So I will say the soundtracks. I pretty much listen to video game soundtracks regularly. I throw them on in my car. I throw them on when I'm doing dishes. Uh,
When you enter
I
different
don't.
towns.
Oh yeah, it's. I mean,
When he
I
literally
mean the.
enters different towns like in
Yeah,
real
Right.
life, right?
yeah. The soundtracks are so good, and like it goes to show too. Like if you can make a nice. Uh, it's better to put a picture to it, obviously, because when you walk into a town and that music hits, you're like looking at the town differently.
Right.
But just listen to it, and if you just like, I don't do this when I'm driving, but if you close your eyes and you picture yourself in like that type of game, it's just I get lost in it. It's super
Mhm.
good. Their soundtracks are the best. I mean, not even just Final Fantasy series, right? We're talking like all RPGs.
Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
music, the soundtracks are just beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, and not getting off the RPG soundtracks, but like you said, even when Jay Dark Dad was playing Mega Man, and you listen to those tunes, it's just, I mean, you rock out to them. I don't know how more geeky you can get when you're just like, yeah, I'm rocking out to video game tunes, but the scores and the music, they're iconic. You know, you hear certain scores and you can identify the game or the stage or the character that's going to show up. It's just I don't know. It's something that I don't really pay attention, to be honest, in the games today. I can't even tell you a game that right off the top of my head that had that same effect, like that music was there, and it was just, it enveloped me in the game and in the mood of the game. A lot of times the score is just, it's forgettable, to be honest. I don't know, any of you guys have played anything more modern, more recent, that you might say, hey, this game right here, the score is great, or the music is great and really lends to the mood? Anybody?
Uh,
I normally if with MLB the show, you normally could change the soundtrack. You know,
Mhm.
we used to have the import feature music, so I would import a lot of my MP3s that I normally listen to into the PS, and then from there, play it in the game. You were able to import your music into the game. So, literally, I would, contemporary music that I would listen to, I would just add to the gameplay.
Nice.
I've never been one to kind of really taking the music to in the background. I actually sometimes lower the music.
Mhm.
It's rare that I'll have the music playing along with the game, but
Right.
um, I'm not a big, outside of the show. Really, there's no game that I would like listen to the music to.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I think the last game that I personally played, that I put a lot of time into, that I did listen to kind of like the score, the playlist behind, was Destiny. It was one that I didn't lower the music, and to me, it just lent to the atmosphere, the ambiance of the game, and whatnot. So, but other than that, I'm with you, Henyo. I usually like put that slider to 0 and bring up the sound effects and the character voices and all that other stuff. I don't need something that's, like elevator music just repeating over and over and over again. But the flip side is that on these retro games, um, yeah, it's hypnotizing, man. I can listen to it like Sleek was saying, be on a road trip or something and just listen to it. Or even, I know Jay, if he was here, he'd say, man, I put some of that stuff in my ears to go to sleep. And he's just, I don't know, but anyway, to each their own, man. But thank you for giving some input on that, and for just rocking out. This week has been better because you guys have been playing and taking advantage here on Discord, and it kind of makes me wonder, what if Microsoft would have acquired Discord? Would this feature have been amplified? for streaming, and then the better quality and whatnot. And I don't know. Anyways, there's other topics and other things that we can talk about, but let me jump over to you, Henyo.
Based on well, just to
Go
comment on
ahead,
that, just
go for it.
based on Teams, Microsoft Teams, a lot of people not happy with Teams. So I don't know what would have become of Discord.
Yeah, no,
to be honest.
I know the opposite, like you said, and I'm glad you presented that. And I want to say what's up to Dusty. Dusty, I seen you there and I responded to you. He's on the YouTube side here on Drama Free Gaming. Appreciate you being there. Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Henyo, because some people actually let out a sigh of relief when Microsoft didn't acquire Discord. And I don't know. For me, it's just like I always hope that Microsoft would do their best work, but we know that their track record hasn't been like 100%, right? So, but I would have loved to have seen a platform, if not Discord, a platform that could be like Discord, and I think Sleek mentioned Gilded, right? Gilded is is a competitor. I'm gonna need to go check it out, because if I can integrate what I'm doing already on Discord over to Gilded and get more features, that's what's up. That is definitely what's up. I am disappointed that we boosted, or whatever it was, Nitro boosted, and I thought it was going to be for the entire Drama Free Gaming server here on Discord, but it's on an individual basis. Like, come on, that sucks. To me, it sucks. It's like, what? Every individual person in the server has to, like, cough up some money so that they can play at 1080, 60. Come on now. Like, come on, people. We can do better than that. But anyways.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, Gilded actually right off the gate lets you stream at a higher quality.
Yeah. I mean, 720, 30 is not bad, but if you can give me 1080, 60, if I'll be willing to pay you, the $5, that's fine. But each individual person inside of the server has to pay in order to unlock that. I thought it was a one-shot deal, man. But I don't know. I know how I feel about that. I don't, $5 ain't a lot to me, but I just wanted to do it for the community and whatnot, and for us to kind of like chip in. But yeah,
1080p should be
standard,
the new 420,
right?
I mean, we're 2K, 4K,
right?
8K,
right.
and here we are trying to pay for 1080p.
Good point. Good point. You know what? You just convinced me. I am not renewing this Nitro thing next month. It's a done deal. It's a one-shot deal, and that's it. I'm done with it. But anyways, guys, let me ask you, Henyo, moving on. How are those servers for San Diego studios and MLB? What's, any improvement, man?
Yeah. There's been improvement. The teams, focused in on it. I was contemplating of how I was gonna, discuss what was going on. Was I gonna take the high road, which most streamers did, versus just bash them, and you know what? I have mixed emotions about it again, because I'm questioning myself about it. Should I bash them or not?
Right.
But you know what? They addressed the issue. They addressed the issue. They obviously everyone's really upset in 2 points. Number one, there's always a problem with the servers when the game comes out. That's nothing new. That even going back 4 or 5 versions, when you break in a new server, you're gonna go through issues. So and then you add to the mix crossplay. I think that added to some of the frustration, from the PS5 users. And then, you layer in the fact that it was free on, well, some would argue it's not free on Game Pass because you have to pay for the subscription.
Right.
But, these guys are, have MLB The Show for free if you really want to think about it that way. So there was a lot of I was watching the tweets go in and out. And, people were really disgruntled, and, they were just seeing these servers go disconnect. And I experienced it a lot. I was really disappointed. And, you kind of wait it out, because there's really nothing you could do if it's a game that's on, that's, part of your rotation. you're gonna wait it out. And I did. So my start was off slow. I lost what's experience points because in this game, not to get too deep in it, but you rely on XP to kind of get cards, right? Saying you
Mm-hmm.
want better cards so you can build a better team. You build a better team. You kind of you get into a role of leveling up. So
Yeah.
when you're not gaining any XP, you're treading water. You're playing
Yeah.
a 3 inning game or a 6 inning game, and you drop out, and it goes down as a loss.
Yeah, you mentioned that, and I was like, wow. And before I even touch on that, let me go back because I wanted to ask you, but I didn't want to interrupt you. So, out there in social media land and wherever you've been connected to get your news and whatnot, have you seen specifically PlayStation fans saying, dang, this is what happens when Xbox is included, and now look at our game, it's all screwed up, and Game Pass is to blame, or whatever it was that they've said. Like, what
Yeah.
have you seen? Have you seen that specifically out
Oh
there?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of
Is it
more on the
fair?
PS5.
Is it fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. Now tell me why. Tell me
play,
why. Tell us why.
you
Because
know,
you're a techie. Go ahead.
right. And I mean, well, you're introducing, a loads of servers, and you have different regions for these servers. So not everyone experienced the same outages as some of us did, right? Some in the West Coast were still playing and streaming, while some on the East Coast were disconnecting, and they were going, "What the hell is going on?" So, I don't think it was globally. I think it was just region based. So, you had your outcry there. And just PS5 owners really, really upset at the fact that, again, this could have been brought on by, the inclusion of a different network.
Mm,
And also, the crossplay, and the fact that it was all given away as a service to some other
mm,
platform.
right.
They didn't get it for free. They paid for it on the PS5. You did
Right.
not get this free on the PS5,
Right.
even as a service. Even now on PlayStation Now. What is it? PlayStation Now, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
would have been the service.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So not even that offering from PlayStation or Sony.
Mm,
So obviously, there are people that really voice their opinion, and they were really upset. And then you add to that mix so many outages. I'm talking about every like 2 or 3 hours there was an outage, and the running game, or the running joke was, here we go with a scheduled maintenance tweet. Because every
yeah.
time there was, they would run into issues, they would tweet it out, and they were like, okay, see you Monday, see you Tuesday. All
Yeah.
right, this is a retweet from, for next Wednesday. Twitter really goes off on you.
Right.
So,
Right. It's
and
interesting. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. I didn't
yeah,
want to cut
and
you
that's
off.
what kind of led me to, should I bash him or not? And you know what, the game plays well. There's, to me, there's nothing wrong with the game. I enjoy it. I strike out, I hit home runs. I'm having a great time. My XPs are starting to flow. So you know what, I'm gonna take the high road, and things look good. I haven't had a crash in several days now, so
Cool.
um, we're all good. Hopefully everyone will start kind of enjoying the game now at this point.
Yeah, hopefully things start to settle in, right? In my casual, being a nasty casual, filthy casual, how they say, when it comes to baseball and stuff, in my experiences, yeah, I haven't gotten in there to do a season or to get XP or anything like that. To be honest, I didn't even notice. But I've had a pretty positive experience. But yeah, I see what you're saying, that when when Xbox users got the news that MLB The Show not only was coming to Xbox and that it would be crossplay, but that we were going to get it day and date on Game Pass as part of our subscription.
Mhm.
Because I'm glad that you said it. Free, not technically, I mean, but it is part of a subscription. It's, so you pay for it, but um some will argue, are you that vested, or not if you don't pay full price. And then I have my own thoughts on that. But either way, the flooding of servers, more people on there, then you got the dedicated, the committed, the diehard, and I'm not saying that disparagingly, that are like, dang, I didn't have this problem before, and now, yeah, we have minimal problems, but now this is a whole new, can of worms. Yeah, I mean, and I've
This was the
seen.
worst it got. This is the worst I've ever experienced it. This was pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, I could imagine. I could only imagine with the influx, again, crossplay and whatnot. Even Outriders that has been out for more than a month already, maybe going on 2. They've been having server issues that they're still addressing, and still working on, and I've experienced some of those issues on that game. I've been trying to enjoy the game, not really as engaged in the game. There's something about the game that just doesn't quite grip me, but I keep going back to play. I don't know. Maybe I'm just waiting for the game to get better for me, in my opinion. It's not a bad game, but yeah, but the server issues, it impacts gameplay, right? It definitely does. Does it impact your approach to games that depend heavily on server use and the servers being up? What do you say to that? Do you start planning or maybe moving away from those games and saying I'm gonna come back to it later? Like, what's your take on that?
Uh, Absolutely, you start to get second guess yourself with the decision to play a game that relies so heavily on a server, right? Like Sleek was mentioning earlier, you had this game already, like you ain't had to worry about the gameplay. The gameplay, it was what it is, and when you're relying on something else, it's bad enough you could, your disc could go bad, your console could go bad, whatever case, maybe your controller might go bad, but now you're adding the database of a server, getting unsynced, which what I think is part of the problem.
Mm.
You're adding what's the word? You're adding almost to the possibilities of failure, right? So you know it's just a layer that you kind of don't want, but you kind of it's what most games are today. You're relying on servers to kind of handle the load or to distribute the game itself. So um, I'm you start thinking about how much it was better back then that you didn't have to rely on servers.
Does this in any way, shape, or form harm the brand, the franchise of a game? And specifically, we're talking here about MLB The Show. I mean, is this going to cause some people to say, nah, these people ain't got it together, not knowing like the stuff that we know or having the experience with the franchise? I mean, I'm talking about the newcomers.
Yeah.
Does
I
it?
think two things. Yeah, I think two things need to be seen. So communication to the community and resolve to the issue, right? So how fast does it take them to either acknowledge, hey, we got a problem, we're working on it. We'll let you know when things are working again. And then there's the actual, hey, we fixed it, we addressed the issue, and enjoy the game. Here's some free double XP weekend. So those are some of the factors that you look at the game developer. How quick are they to fess up to an issue, and how quick are they able to address the issue. And I there was no doubt in my mind that San Diego Studio would resolve the issue, and it was just a matter of time. So I loaded up another game, and I played that game until things stabilized.
Mm. So definitely ownership, right? Just owning what the issue
Right.
is, and coming out and
Absolutely.
being transparent with the community.
Yeah, I mean, Cyberpunk. People knew right away. This game, something's wrong with this game, and what did they do? They
Yeah.
kind of were like, looking at the disaster unfold. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like
right.
they,
Sweep it under
nothing
the
was
rug.
really.
Nothing to
Well,
see
they
here.
weren't
Nothing to see
sweeping
here.
under the rug, but then again, they were just like, hold up, we kind of. It wasn't until I think several weeks after the fact that somebody came online to say, hey, you know what, this game, is fucked up,
Right.
and we're gonna address it.
Right. I mean,
We're offering refunds and stuff like that.
you mentioned that, and I remember. I think I don't know if it was last episode or the episode after that. I think it was Jay who said something about CD Projekt Red releasing the numbers as to how much they sold in spite of the refunds and all this other stuff. And I think he said it like in a positive light, and I understand where he was coming from. But I was looking at that same statement that was put out there, and I was like, yeah, I mean, you made X amount of dollars and whatever, but look at the damage that you did to yourself by not, being transparent, by putting up excuses, and then you have the audacity to put out these numbers like it's something positive. Like, yeah, you know what? We stuck it to you, and you had a terrible experience, and you got your refund, but we still made money off of you. I mean, that's the opposite of the coin, right? I'm not talking about the game and the people who put sweat, blood, and tears into making the game. I'm talking about, the marketing individuals, the people that have to respond to the shareholders, and they're looking at the bottom line and saying, game got to go out. It doesn't matter, blah, 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 whatever was discussed in a back room somewhere. But yeah, I saw that statement, and although Jay said it in a positive way or interpreted that way, I interpreted the exact opposite. I don't know. I don't know how you felt about that, but that was just me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just it's I didn't pay for the game. It was a Christmas gift, so it's kind of hard to go. You know what? Those fuckers, they fucked
Yeah,
me
it was a
over.
big middle finger, dude. I mean, for real, like whether you got it free or not, it was like we still made
Yeah,
$26 million off you. Screw you,
I
you
guess
know?
it would have. What if it would have came out for real out of my wallet, it probably would have, stung more. I guess
Yeah,
is what I'm trying
yeah.
to say. Not
And
that it didn't, because I really want to play the game, but it's such a, it
yeah.
was such a letdown to kind of continue.
And to be honest, coming back full circle with that in mind, maybe that's why there's so many and I could understand. I empathize, so many PlayStation people that are just mad because again, they put 60, 70, $100 out of pocket to play this, and Xbox users on Game Pass didn't.
Oof.
Yeah, they're not, Xbox users
Mhm.
are probably like, okay, they'll fix it when they fix it. It's in there, it's in my subscription. I'll come back to it when it's ready,
Right,
right?
right.
And yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Yup. But anyways, man, I mean, server woes not only for San Diego studios getting better and better by the day,
Yes.
but
You could tell when things are getting better because they start talking about, oh, this weekend we have our, home run hitting, event, or, hey, we're releasing certain cars this
yeah,
week, and stuff like that. So, when you start talking about DLC and extra content, all that stuff, things are kind of back on track.
yeah, they
So,
start putting out incentives and stuff for the people, and everybody just gets happy, especially those double XP anything.
right.
That's a great time. So I know we kind of like bypassed this, but we did talk about what we were playing, and I'll be honest, man, I haven't really like locked into anything and actually played anything. I've just been in the lab with the lab code. I'm working on another podcast, working on myself, trying to just get myself together, and but other than what we've mentioned and whatnot, what have we been playing? What have we been looking at, touching?
We know what Sleek's been playing.
Yeah, we know what Sleek's been playing. I mean, and wants to continue playing, but what's on the horizon? Maybe Sleek wants to say something to this effect.
Tell you what, Hanyo, I was just telling N before we started this, I almost decided to start playing it on the PlayStation as well.
Mm,
I'd have to start from the beginning, but I was telling him how much easier it is to do uh, Sabin, if you remember that guy. He's the one that I always do the blitzes with.
Hmm.
I can't do with a keyboard his harder blitzes because the combinations are just it's just too much going on.
Yeah.
I've been trying to figure it out. I just can't do it, but I'm looking to probably play Final Fantasy 2 next.
This is real retro stuff, man. This is like,
Yeah, he's he's taking it back. And the thing about Sleek, and y'all heard it here before, and if you haven't heard it, he actually has these hard copies of these games.
Yeah,
He's not playing emulated stuff. He's like hard
yeah,
copy blowing into the cartridge type gamer. So
yeah.
yeah,
And
he's
you know what's crazy is it's it's not a drag, but I mean, yeah, I have all the physical copies and stuff, but with with how it's being done now, it's just so much more convenient and easier to get, like to say stream it
mhm.
or share it with others. It's just the convenience is like it's so appealing. I mean,
Mhm.
rather than like you said, blowing into a cartridge just to make it work, which I I think it's a myth to be honest. I think the Q-tip with a little bit of rubbing
Alcohol.
alcohol, I want to
Yeah, oh
say.
yeah. Yeah, you're right about that, Sleek. I'm gonna interrupt you.
Yeah.
The blowing into the cartridge. I mean, it was until I think my adulthood that I found out blowing into it, you just getting saliva in there, you're wetting the chip, and that thing starts to rust. It's like there's nothing good that can come out of you blowing into a Nintendo cartridge or a Sega, a Master System, or Genesis cartridge. Like, don't do that. If you have them,
Right.
maybe
No, no. To be
like you
honest with
said, a
you,
little swab.
you know what I used in my day. And I don't know if I was the innovator of this. The eraser.
An
I found the
eraser.
eraser,
Wow.
the eraser to kind of clean those heads,
Okay. For like
those
the
leads.
contacts, right? The little leads and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep.
But
Yep.
did
Yep.
you know that because you used to like build computers or take them apart or so work on computers?
No, it was just more of trying to I
It
don't know
wasn't a
how it came about. It
transferable
was just
skill.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe I got hit over the head and it just dawned on me that what, if you
Hey,
use an eraser, it kind of cleans the thin lining. I think alcohol is the better choice, but
yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
he he
something
had an
told me stick an
epiphany.
eraser in there and wipe those leads.
He had an epiphany, you said.
Yeah,
Sleep.
Yeah, he woke up. He woke up. He's like, I had a dream and
Yeah.
I need an eraser now.
An eraser.
Tested it out and there it went.
Dude,
that's
you
what I
you mentioned the thing with the eraser, and I'm trying to remember, like, did I ever do that method? I know I've seen it somewhere. Maybe it was you who I saw doing it because I don't think I recall anyone. I know it's a thing. I personally never used it. I mean,
did.
but ain't
I
it
use it on my
crazy?
Genesis cartridges,
You
so I
use it on
probably
your
may have
Genesis cartridges?
I probably may have shown someone else on this Super NES.
Probably. Ain't it crazy then that after these cartridges with these leads on them and stuff, then we get the CDs and we take the toothpaste, just the white toothpaste
Yeah.
without the fluoride in it, so it doesn't scratch it up and
Yeah,
smear it all over the the disc
yeah.
and
Yeah.
Which
watch
was
it all.
always, puzzling to me because a CD is almost like a vinyl record in which it
Mhm,
has these grooves that the laser is kind of reading,
mhm.
and to kind of sand those down with fluoride, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's why you use the non-fluoride toothpaste, brother. That's it's just, I'm for real. I wish I was making that up, man. I always used to be like, Let me get a little drop of toothpaste," and then I would
Yeah,
ask, I said, "Is this fluoride or not?" I got, it's like, no, it's not fluoride. Like, okay, because you don't want the little abrasive, fluoride inside the toothpaste to mess up. I mean, imagine what that was doing to the enamel of your teeth, and here you are putting it on. It's just crazy.
Well,
Stupid things we
uh,
do.
I
you know
knew I went
what's
too far when I used oven cleaner.
Oh my gosh, really?
No, no.
I was
he,
gonna say, wouldn't that have like melted it down or something? I mean, this.
well, you know what's crazy? Um, I just learned this. My wife actually told me is the strip on your toothpaste.
Hmm,
So like on the tube on the bottom, you have like a blue strip, a red strip,
hmm,
whatever. if that colors actually mean something. It means how many chemicals are actually in it.
Are
So
you
you just want a
serious?
solid, yeah, you just want a solid blue strip. I just learned this.
Hmm.
No.
Yeah. So if it's straight blue, you're good. But
Okay.
if you see like red and yeah, that means there's like different chemicals in it. There's more stuff in it.
So blue is good, huh?
Blue is good.
I'm gonna go examine my toothbrush.
He's gonna go check it out. Mine's is upstairs, man. I'm like,
What does green mean?
it means
I'm not
mold,
sure.
bro. It's only red and blue. You've had that tube too long. That's what that means. Oh my gosh. Dude, the secret stuff that they put out there, right? They just like, well,
Hmm.
we have to meet some sort of FDA regulation. Well, let's just put a little strip here and call it a day. People won't know the
Yeah.
difference, but
Yeah. Well,
that's
that's their way,
crazy.
right?
Yeah,
They can be
yeah.
like, "Hey, it was on the tube. It
Yeah.
was on the tube." So
Yeah, like the
neat.
super
Yeah.
super duper fine print on the cartons of cigarettes and stuff will produce throat cancer, but it's real tiny, so
Most of today's medicine, they'll
yeah.
tell you
Yeah.
commercial. So,
Yeah. Well, no, they'll slow down the commercial to show you the wonderful, life altering, life changing positive effects that it will have. And then when it comes to the negative stuff, they get the guy that's like the auctioneer,
yeah.
and he'll start
Yeah,
saying, "Yeah, it will."
actually, dude, I didn't know. Actually, they actually slow it down. They
Yeah,
say,
exactly.
this actually might kill you. This they're telling you every warning slowly now. If you take a listen
Really?
to these commercials, they're really slowing down. They'll go, if if you're trying to prevent, heartburn, this may cause liver disease.
Wow.
Like they'll really slow it down and tell you, this might lead to, nausea and headaches,
Mm.
and and you're just taking a pill for a wart, and you might end up, pregnant,
But
and it's
when,
like, whoa, what
but when, but when they're slowing it down, is the tactic now that they're just distracting you with what's on the screen? Like, are they showing you like a beautiful scenery and you
yeah,
Yeah. Heaven.
outside?
They're
They're
everything's
showing
showing
you
beautiful in
heaven.
the commercials. Show me a commercial
they're
that's not
showing you
beautiful.
heaven. They're
Yeah,
showing you the
no,
pearly gates.
I think it's just to kind of the litigation of the court systems, kind of saying, hey, if this is not good, you kind of have to let people know. If not, they're gonna continue suing you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
in acknowledgement, you're almost signing a waiver when you look at the commercial and you decide to take the medicine. Is like,
Mm.
well, when we advertise, we told you this might lead to gum disease. We also told you that this will,
Right.
damage your liver.
Right.
So and they listen to the commercial. Look at it. They really actually do slow down and tell you the side
Wow.
effects for reals.
Things have changed. Well, so let's turn that, since because we're not here promoting any medicines or anything like that, but let's turn that to gaming. How would y'all feel if gamings or games were advertised in that way? Tell you, hey, this game might not be complete, and this game actually is broken several times, and might delete your data, or not give you the XP after playing 9 innings for 3 hours.
Yeah, it would go
Would you
to show.
appreciate that? I mean, how would you
It,
feel
it,
about
Well,
would,
that?
it would go to show how important things are for people. And I'm pretty sure a gamer would be like, "What? You crazy?" You know what
Mm.
I'm saying?
Would
But someone who who's overaged, like a lot older, they're gonna rely on some of this medicine, to help them, gain a couple extra years. So they're willing to take that risk,
mm,
versus a gamer. I mean, the gamer's like, nah, screw that. There's plenty more to work with. It's not physically hurting me.
mm.
So I don't think it would work the same way with a gamer, even if it was advertised.
Really?
well,
Okay.
and this will hit home with like the both of us, but you can think of it as with video, like pretty much anything you can apply to, right? So with medicine, you're looking at everybody's body is different. You don't know how it's going to affect you. Video games, like someone, like you said, oh, the servers are down. It could be just this region. So it's only going to affect certain people and depending on like where you are, who you are, or in technology. I mean, you could get like a beautiful machine with like all the bells and whistles and the best parts, and they'll be like, yeah, like this is the best part, um, so forth, so on. But some people are unlucky and they get a lemon, even though it's the same part someone else has that will speak super highly of it. You know what I mean? So
Look,
it's super hard to
look at games
tell.
like Cyberpunk. I mean, it worked better on one system than it did on other.
Yeah,
It's the game was still a little bit messed up, but at least PC players were able to continue playing versus others just they just shut it down. They were like, "Here's a refund because it's not going to work on your system." You know,
yeah.
uh,
So
definitely to that effect. Yeah.
yeah, so like I just apply it to anything in life. Like when you're taking medicine, you don't know if you're allergic to something or not allergic to something until
Mm,
you have uh, you experience it.
uh,
Same with the game, right? With MLB, um, I was playing it the other night and I had no issues with any of it. But at the same time, people were like, servers are down again and blah blah blah. But I'm like, I'm playing right now, so I don't know.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
witnessed the same thing with streamers, and this actually makes me think of Madden for some reason. Players know Madden year in, year out. Think it's going to be something wrong with the game, but you know what? They're back at it. They're
It
back
doesn't
at it.
deter them, right?
Right. And so if the advertisement for EA Sports was to say, Madden, this game might lag out during a crucial play,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I think a Madden player would be like, yeah, I know, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
Different. It's a trade off, right? It's a I mean, you guys took it to a whole new level in saying that. I was more of the presenting it like, what if games weren't dressed up or hyped up to be this revolutionary brand new genre redefining game, and they would just come flat out and say, hey, this game is a bit like this and a bit like that. You've played it before, but it's just a new skin with a couple of added features, and yeah, it might not
That's
be
not advertising.
altogether right.
Then that's not advertising. you know
No,
that
that's not honesty, right? I mean, honesty. There's no place there's no place for honesty in advertisements. Is what you're saying?
yeah, in medicine it's more of a disclaimer,
Mm.
but in a product, you kind of don't want that.
Right, right. Well, I mean, we mention here all the time CD Project Red and their game, right? But what about No Man's Sky? Have any of you played that game or checked it out at all?
No.
I have.
Yeah, the game now is amazing.
Yes,
But
it's
I
come a
didn't
very
play
long
it when
way.
it came out, but people were seething when that game dropped, and it did not live up to the expectations, even what was on stage at E3 for PlayStation. Um, but now the game is phenomenal.
Mm,
Yeah, it's very good now.
Yeah, and I think that people are kind of hoping that that's what happens with Cyberpunk. I'm hoping that it is a No Man's Sky type comeback, where the game, when the actual Xbox Series X version falls, comes out, that it's going to be phenomenal. I want to play the game. I want it to be a great game and successful, and I want to experience it on console. So,
That's where the vision comes alive, right? So that was No Man's Sky's vision the whole time. It
mhm,
just took them a process to get there.
yeah,
Trial of elimination and hardships. I mean, it's with everything. It's gonna
yeah,
happen. But if you can wait it out, I mean, we talked about this before. Spoiled generation.
hmm,
Uh, you know, try to be patient and you know see their vision. Like it might not be there now, but they know what they're trying to achieve. But by you doing what you're doing, you're not helping the cause.
right.
They hear you. They hear you. Just let them figure out their piece.
You gotta let things bake in the oven, right, until it's done.
yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
yeah, we
I'm
we
definitely ready to get back into CD Projekt, but I mean, into
into
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk. Yeah, I
I
mean,
missed
yeah.
that game. I really do miss that game. I was enjoying it. I was, but
I mean,
better.
if you've never played it and it was something that was described to you on paper, it grabs your attention. I mean, just the scope of it and the idea of the game and the environment and everything. It just for me, like again, I'm completely foreign in my knowledge of anything cyberpunk and whatnot, and didn't even bother picking up the game when it dropped, and I'm glad that I didn't. But I'm gonna wait it out and wait till the game actually comes out on the Series X, like I said, and play it and enjoy it, and hopefully the game will be complete by then. So,
Mm.
but yeah. Anyway,
So
Sleep,
play.
let me ask you this real quick, man, and you know, you don't have to belabor the point if you don't want to, or you can speak the rest of the night if you like. But you made a comment to me, actually at Discord, about more PC gamers now can play their games on the Xbox with mouse and keyboard, which I know has been a feature that's been out for a while,
Oh
but
yeah.
will they actually do that, even though the Xbox Series X is more like a PC, some would argue?
hmm
You think so? You think people
Um,
will play mouse and keyboard?
there's a lot of people on the Xbox who play keyboard mouse now. If so, a lot of people prefer like when you're playing a game like Apex or competitive Call of Duty or something, you need. I mean, there's people who will argue that they're better with the controller, which is true. Like it's whatever you're comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to think of the speed and accuracy you have with the mouse, right? I mean, just you'd have to have like side by sides of someone who's unreal with a controller and someone who's unreal with a mouse. Really get a good gauge on it.
Mm-hmm.
But a mouse is much easier in regards to like first person shooters, um, and just much quicker, more accurate. Uh, in my opinion, I
Yeah,
don't.
you
I
definitely
also
feel
don't
accuracy.
play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also don't play many first person or FPS games or any shooters to be honest.
Okay. What do you say to
Paladins,
that,
but
Eugenio, as far as
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt. I think there's a time and place for a controller. Certain games just you need a keyboard and mouse. Um, I think of Command and Conquer, and I games like that type of RPG or RTS, I think they're called.
mm-hmm.
That you got to control so much, right? And the controller just doesn't give you that. For example, when you're controlling units, um, you got to highlight the units and then select them, group them, and then assign a key to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, in a press of two combination keys, you've completed that. On a controller, it would take you like 30 seconds or more.
Mm.
And that's gameplay speed that will hinder you. So my daughter, I see her playing, and she's comfortable playing with a keyboard mouse. Granted, she's on a laptop, but I see her playing GTA, and I also see her playing Fortnite, and I'm like, "Do you want a controller?" And she's like, "No, no,
Mm.
I'll take the mouse controller." She just feels more confident, and she feels it's more accurate, for her aim,
How
and it's
how
true.
is how is that transition? And I want to talk just a little bit about it, not to go down the rabbit hole, but you know, how is that transition from either mouse and keyboard to a controller, or controller to mouse and keyboard? Which one would you guys say is easier, whether by your own experience or just giving an opinion?
um, I've played both. So I guess you could put it with specific games need to be used with certain things, like Hanyo said. I mean, if you're gonna play a game like an MMO, right? You're gonna play Final Fantasy, World of Warcraft,
Mm.
Guild Wars, whatever your poison is. You see all the hotkeys, right? I mean,
Hmm.
You see the amount of spells your character can have, the skills. I mean, there's just no translation on a controller to be able to do that many things
Mm-hmm.
as quick as you can with a keyboard. Now, Diablo is a different story because it it works well on a controller.
Mm-hmm.
And they made the point because you don't have as many skills or spells equipped as you would in
Right.
World of Warcraft. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah. I've played
it
Diablo.
worked well.
Yeah, I played Diablo with the controller on the console, and I loved it. I thought I was not gonna enjoy it for the reason that you're saying, that I thought this game has much more involved, and I'm wonder how many layers of menus or combinations of buttons would I have to press on my controller. Like for instance, I give an example. Like I did the alpha testing and the beta testing for Division 1, and one of my immediate feedback to Ubisoft was, I even to this day I did not like having to hold down, I think, the left bumper to bring up the a radial menu to select like a specific grenade or an item or something, and then press a button while I'm still holding the left bumper and the other directional pad or whatever, and hitting the button to consume it. Like, I hated that. I felt that, it put me out of it took me out of the game. Like, I had to literally like slow down my character or get behind cover. Maybe it was me that I wasn't nimble enough, dexterous enough with the controller, but it was just, I hated it. I hated
Can I
it.
give you an analogy? What it was like to me?
Mhm.
A controller to a keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a piano to bongos.
Okay.
A piano, you need your fingers, and like you kind of orchestrate your fingers to certain keys, right?
Mm.
Because you have so many buttons on a keyboard, and you could use literally all of them in a game. Versus a console controller, to me, it's just you're banging away at the buttons, you're button mashing. There's no
Mm-hmm.
real
Mhm.
dexterity to your fingertips. Everything's just, move left, right, up, down, and then bash the buttons.
The learning curve is for let's say, uh, I'll share my experience. I played Doom, the first one, not the newest one, the one previous to that. I played Doom first on the Xbox, and I enjoyed it. I was like, this game looks great, feels great. When I built my computer and I saw a sale for Doom on PC on Steam, I think it was like $5, to be honest. And I said, I'm gonna pick it up because I was always curious about playing with a mouse and keyboard, because people swore by it. They were like, man, this game is so much better on PC, mouse and keyboard. I said, okay, cool. I'm gonna play it. That game blew my mind, and the experience that I had playing with a mouse and keyboard was unreal.
Mm.
Like, I mean, it was like night and day. I felt the game, the speed of the game. I mean, mind you, because I was playing at more than 120 frames, that was the first thing. But the smoothness of the game, like you were saying, just being able to coordinate your fingers in such a way where it all came together, and I was like, this is what PC players are talking about. Now, mind you, I never got like really good like that at it and whatnot, but I can feel the almost like I don't want to say connection, but I felt that it was just a totally different experience. So different it was that when I went back to console to play it, it felt sluggish. It felt slow. Like, it really felt awkward with the controller, and I haven't been able to like play Doom on a console since then, just because of what I experienced on PC.
Yeah.
Right. And now going back to what Daniel said about RTS, it's true, right? Remember um, Warcraft 2 on the PlayStation 1?
Mm.
Uh, like, or even Command and Conquer, Red Alert. Like he says, you are trying to control a massive amount of units, and with a controller, like the speed's not there. Like, think about it. You're moving that mouse with the flick of your wrist, and you can get that thing quick. In a console, like you said, you have to hold down a specific button to move it that quickly, but you have to give and take. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe some of the games had where you had to give and take, where if you're gonna hold down that button and move quickly, you're not gonna have the vision, right? The visuals you want
Yeah.
with a mouse, where you can move that quick, but you can pretty much see way more because you have the freedom to move
Yeah, I don't know.
everywhere and anywhere on the screen.
I don't know if you noticed it, in time when I was playing Iron Harvest,
Yes. Yes.
how
I
I
was
was
gonna
able to
bring that up.
control my
Mhm.
group,
Mhm.
and even though they were off screen, with my hotkey, I was able to call them up to where I was at. So
Yeah.
stuff like that is what he's referring to.
I think a big thing here, guys, not to belabor this, but it's interesting, and for anyone who's hearing and is even remotely interested, but it just dawned on me that if you're gonna get good at something, like I like the analogy that you use. It's pianos, it's a keyboard, and the controller is bongos. It's two different instruments, right?
Yep.
And so if you don't put time into learning and adapting and becoming accustomed to mouse and keyboard, it's like with anything, right? You're not going to be proficient, and you're going to look at it as, oh, well, this sucks and this is hard or whatever it is, and I'm just going to go default to what I was, doing before. Like, mind you, I think Sleek and I were talking about this before the show started, and he was saying about the convenience of playing these old school games and just plugging a controller into your computer. It's plug and play, whether it's wireless or literally plugging it in, and you're off to the races, right? So there's a convenience there as well. Um, but yeah, I think of it personally, like, the time that I've put in to learn, for example, one of the things that I do just with my firearms, knowing how to put them together, take them apart, know the parts, knows how things go, how to loop things up, and make sure that those tools are ready to go, right? What good is it that you just have it there and you're looking at it and you're like, wow, I have this badass rifle or handgun and whatnot, but you're clueless as to how to use it. You'll be a bumbling fool and kill yourself or someone else in the process, right? so,
Mhm.
so yeah, it's investing that time in the process of learning, but
Yeah. There's a, I guess,
A
you know,
time and a place for everything.
right,
yeah,
and there's a game and a
Yep.
system to use that.
mm,
Well, great example. I'm playing Final Fantasy 3. I can't do half the blitzes because it's just trying to hit the arrows properly is just too, like, the way specifically the keyboard I'm using, right? It's just your typical HP. It's not like a gaming keyboard or a laptop where I might be able to do it on here because the arrows are much closer. But think of a normal desktop keyboard I'm using. You got the bulky arrows, and they got a little bit of space, so I can't get that fluidity of my like thumb or finger going around it.
mm,
And it's going to be based on how you're holding something. Like, think about when you're using a keyboard compared to when you're holding a controller, like your finger placement.
mm-hmm.
Like, what's more comfortable? What's that word I'm looking for?
Manageable.
the com- yeah, but it's that special word when you're like when you're sitting properly at your work desk,
Mm-hmm.
or I believe it starts with an A, but I digress.
Ergonomic.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
there we go. So it also depends on, like, yeah, the comfortability of that. I mean, with a controller, uh, I mean, so a Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the buttons are just your thumbs; they're right there.
Mm.
So
Yeah, you make a good point
No.
because I was gonna make the comment that you, even though you was using mouse and keyboard, or you was using keyboard for the game, that retro game, you would have normally just been playing it with the original controller,
Yeah.
right?
I
How
can
the
still fly through the menus like I do with the keyboard because the menus aren't that big of a deal. I mean,
mm-hmm,
the same with the keyboard. I mean, you're just using when you bring up the menu, you're just using two buttons. You're going in or go backing out, in
right,
backing out. So I can do that with a controller or with a keyboard. It's just I know where everything is, which is why I can do it so quick. Like I know what the items already do. I know what weapons gonna be better. Uh, and then optimization is a beautiful thing because typically in games like that, they when you do optimization, it it will cater to. It almost knows when you're going to fight specific bosses, right?
mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I crushed two of them today in like 5 minutes. Uh, and like I'm almost done with it. I should be done. Well, I might not finish tomorrow, but pretty close.
Yeah, that's cool. There's a, like Henyo said, I think you echoed it, Sleek. There's a tool and a time for everything, right? And like, and at the end, right, we're going to choose whatever we're most comfortable with, but there is that trade-off, and there is that benefit if we're just willing to, to the learning curve, especially for me coming from a console player to a PC gamer as well, not as heavy as console gaming, but I do enjoy the playing. I play Moonlighter. I think I still
Hmm.
have it.
Hmm.
I played that with mouse and keyboard. I started with mouse and keyboard and continued playing with mouse and keyboard. I try to play it on the PC with the controller, but I already had got used to it on mouse and keyboard. And I was like, okay, I just keep playing with the mouse and keyboard, and just had that experience. So yeah, give it a shot, guys. If you haven't done so, if you gave up on it, I know at one time I did, but going back to it, maybe maybe you're more mature now, got more patience, and who knows, maybe you'll discover something. Let me shoot this at you real quick, Sleek. Monster Hunter Rise
Yep.
2.0, bringing new hunts, bringing more content, more stuff. You're way ahead of me. I haven't played Monster Hunter, haven't had the opportunity. Have been investing my time in other stuff, but how is this game continuing to dominate?
I mean, I've always been a Monster Hunter fan.
Same here.
I mean, you guys have known that since.
Yep.
I mean, I've been playing since the release when it came west. What, 2002?
Yeah, 2002.
Um, yep. So I've
Not
been
me,
playing since
so
then.
I
Yeah.
bow to you on that one.
Oh, and the differences. I mean, we could do like a whole thing
A whole
on
spiel on
how
that.
it progressed
Mm-hmm.
um, through the times. But I mean, I like some of the stuff they put into it. The once you figure out the wire bug, uh, I'm still practicing with it, but I like that it gives you the ability to like really get yourself out of a pickle real quick.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mostly use it for, not so much of the you know hanging above or
Right. Same here.
um, or like the other things. Right. It makes more sense to escape. I still need to figure out some of the special skills and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm enjoying it. I mean, I was trying to do a rank a night. I might try tonight. It's pretty late, but I may try to get to 7. I'm at 6.
Okay.
Um, but the monsters are just getting so good. Like monsters I haven't seen, and then of course monsters I have seen.
Right.
So it they just know how to with this IP. Capcom knows exactly what they're doing, right? They know how to keep people enthralled with the
Mm-hmm.
game.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving you a majority of the time everything they send out is free. I mean,
Right.
they have some minute things that you can pay for, but it's not really uh, things in the
It's not
game that
game
really
breaking,
matter.
right? It's not
Yeah,
stuff that's
yeah,
gonna give you an advantage in the game. It's cosmetic. It's from what I've
yeah, yeah.
seen. It's
It's like change the
cosmetic.
name of your character,
Mm-hmm.
get a haircut. It's like that stuff.
Right. Right. Or
I
here's
don't
a
care. I
or
just
here's an outfit or a skin or here's a do you think they're gonna do any like cross collaborations like they did in World?
oh yes, they will. They will. And I can't wait. I thought I saw rumors of it, but they're like that's a really big thing for a lot of games nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
You see all the mobile games do it, but now you're starting to see games like Brawlhalla does it.
Mm-hmm.
They've been doing it for a while, but like Monster Hunter, they'll bring they'll probably bring some of the ones they did the crosses before in World. I mean, they've already had worked with them about it, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it only makes sense, especially if it's a Capcom IP or
Right.
something they've worked on with someone else.
You know what
It's a no-brainer.
I look at Sleek with Capcom. I think I said it here before, and specifically with this franchise, if there were other companies that have these massive, open world games that you and I love that we play, we don't have to name any of them, but if they would just if they would just go over to Capcom and sit with the Monster Hunter teams, because there's two teams
Yeah.
from what I understand, and just spend a week with them and see what they're doing, see how they develop the content, put out the content, what's the game plan, how the pick their brains and then come back and apply that to your own game. I think it would be phenomenal because, like you said, they know exactly what they're doing. They know how to keep their fan base and community enthralled, engaged. Um and it's just, and the formula hasn't really changed. If you look at the base game, it's still the same game. It's just the
Hmm.
the evolution of the game and what they've brought in and what they've taken out or replaced, or it's just amazing. I mean, I really got into Monster Hunter with World, but I went back to GU.
Hmm.
I got it on the Switch. I love that game, and it doesn't have the commodities of World.
Right.
It's grindy in some places and whatever, but I can appreciate or get a little taste of where the game has come from. I've even gone back and seen YouTubers who have done the history of Monster Hunter and gone in depth to the weapon designs and the characters and the villages and the lore and all that other stuff. And it's just fantastic to dive into, and to know that Capcom got it right. I wish Ubisoft would sit with them, and People Can Fly would sit with them and just say, okay, what do you do about content? What do you do about keeping people engaged? What do you do about storyline? What do you do about innovating? What do you do about, and just pick their brains, man, and then bring it over to your game. I think the world of gaming would be a better place. I don't know. Maybe I'm exaggerating there. I don't know.
No,
I,
you're right because they tried with Final Fantasy. They actually had Final Fantasy Explorers
Mm-hmm.
for the 3DS, and then they had a version come out for mobile. I personally liked it because, again, it was so realistically, it was a watered down Monster Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
It was simpler. Um, it wasn't like as in depth. Some people call it like this is the child's play of Monster Hunter, or like the weak little brother, or something crazy like that. But Final Fantasy, I mean, that series, uh, if you were like you said, go to the Capcom team. Hey, sit with us. We'll tell you guys how to do it using your properties. Like, I think a Final Fantasy game done properly in an ARPG like that, because you got to think of all the generation of Final Fantasies, and I'm only
Mm-hmm.
using Final Fantasy because it's fresh in my mind, obviously, as you know. But look at the amount of weapon and
Yeah.
armor like I'm getting through the older game, right? And then it only you only get more. A lot of it carries out through every game and every series, but then you get all the new stuff. So like Final Fantasy Explorer, it's the same thing. You hunt the big monsters, the espers, if you will, or the summons,
Mm-hmm.
and your armor is awesome. It's it's great, and it had a job system though, which I
Mm-hmm.
like, where you basically unlock the class and you could use it. And you were able to do different things, um, and then some, like you said, some of the stuff, the armor was like being able to dress like a well-known Final Fantasy character.
Right. Right. The
They just,
skins and everything. Yeah.
yeah, they just need to, like you said, again, they just need to sit down, but they have like juicy stuff already.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's there. It's just they need to just do a few minor tweaks here and there
Mm-hmm.
and make it up to snuff with Monster Hunter. But I would buy that game for $100.
Yeah, I had subscribed. I had pre-ordered the base game on the Switch. And then as time went on and we got a taste of the demo and I started to fall in love with the just the world itself, which not because it's a newer game than World, but the aesthetics, I've said it here before, and just the theme of it and the look of it and whatnot, I prefer it over World at this point. Um but I went back and said, nope, I'm going all in. I'm getting like, I'm gonna support this game and I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. And I really know that I'm gonna get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of gameplay. And it's a game I can put down and I can come back to it. And it's like a bike. You don't
Hmm.
forget. You just pick up. What was that game, Sleek? Now that it's on my mind, if you remember, it was a subscription based. It was open world subscription based game. I don't know if it was like an MMO, but I think it revolved around the Final Fantasy world. Um, I think it even had like a Rathian in it and whatnot. It was role playing, but it was open world. I think it was MMO, and you paid on a monthly
Uh,
basis to be on their servers.
well, I know Final Fantasy has Final Fantasy MMO.
Okay. It
Um,
might it
they
might be that one.
Yeah, because the two biggest are World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy.
Okay. Yeah, so it's
Um,
definitely that Final Fantasy.
it
Uh
is. It was Final Fantasy. They did the crossover, so that's
right.
what I mean. Final Fantasy and Monster Hunter, they already do crossovers all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
So it's almost just like, I mean, I guess like Capcom came up with it. Their teams worked hard, and
Mhm.
they're awesome for that. But if, like, I don't know, Final Fantasy, just they bring their stuff into Capcom because they have it, right?
Mhm.
People are like, oh god, we gotta get the Moogle suit. Heck yeah, you gotta get the Moogle suit, or
Right.
who knows what they're gonna do next. And
I just remember seeing that, and it was the first time that I was almost tempted to just subscribe and say, you know what, I'll put a couple of months into this game and pay whatever it is, the server fee or whatever it was, because I mean, it just looked so appealing. And like you said, it had the elements of Monster World in it, and I was looking at the content, and I was like, wow, this is just. But then I backed off because my addictive personality, and I said, if I jump into something like this, I'll never play anything else ever again in my life. So,
well,
uh,
that's the thing with MMOs.
yeah,
You get absorbed, and that's it. I mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
almost put all your time into it, and it's worth it. But they
You
make it in a way now where you can play for free up to a certain level,
Yes, yes.
or you
That
get
was the
45 days
appealing.
free. And
That was the appealing thing, that this game said, you can jump in here, you don't got to pay nothing, and you can do like a big chunk of the story. And I was like, what? That's like, I mean, I think literally it had like over 150 hours of gameplay that you didn't have to buy nothing or pay for nothing. And they just put it out there and say, hey, here's 150 hours. And I was like, yeah, no, I can't do that. And you was gonna say something here?
Yeah, well, yeah, just to go back a little bit to the some of the enemy bosses that you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the differences that you're seeing with these monsters that you're kind of chasing down? Like, what is different now that
I know my experience with Monster Hunter now on Rise, and Sleek can talk some more about it. But I noticed that the monsters in Rise are faster. Even some of the familiar ones that have come back, you might say, from Monster Hunter World, um, they are faster. Um, and I think, again, it's the balance of the game, because there is this thing called the wire bug, and it does get you in and out of places much faster. It adds an element of speed to the game. So for me, again, I've noticed that the monsters are faster in some cases, because they're faster. To me, and Sleek can speak to this, they almost seem more ruthless. Like they're gonna be on you. And I enjoy that. I don't find it difficult per se, but where I'm at is a different place where Sleek is at. Sleek is like Hunter rank 6 or 7 right now. I think I'm still like 4, if that, maybe 3. But that's just been one of the things that I've noticed, that you're in the hunt quicker. You're not spending so much time looking for the monster. The monster's like in an area, you go there, you get to the fight. Fights are lasting shorter where I'm at, I should say. The fights are shorter. But then again, it might just be the difficulty where I'm at, because now with 2.0 that released here a couple of weeks ago, there's Apex level monsters, and some of the oldies but goodies have come back to rear their ugly heads. And one of them that comes to mind is Teostra. Sleek, am I right about that? He's an Apex now, Teostra. And Teostra in World was no joke. It was this like literal like lion dragon type monster, which his AoE blast of fire, if you was not well equipped, it was a one shot. You were gonna die. So you had to like learn his moves like any other creature, and how when he was projecting that move, and either flash him out the sky or get out the way. So Sleek, you still there, man? You can say anything to that effect. I think he muted himself. He might be wrestling with his munchkins or something. But anyways,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Top of the hour.
go ahead, Henyo. Oh no.
Oh no, we're just coming to the top of the hour. That's all. He's
Yeah.
wondering why they're running around.
Yeah, no, he's probably trying to capture them, and then if they're not, he hasn't knocked them down. But Sleek, did you hear anything that I said regarding Monster Hunter? Nope. Okay, well, he might be saying something. His light is maybe he's muted. Hold on, I'm gonna go check. Yep, that's what it was. Was you muted?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I fell out, and it was
Oh,
like,
he
yeah,
fell out.
you can't talk no more. And I was like, ooh.
Oh,
I'll try to
sorry
get his
about that,
attention.
man. I kind of noticed that you was flashing there, like coming up for air, but I was just kept holding you down. But you heard anything I said about Monster Hunter, and Henyo had asked
Everything.
about it.
I heard everything.
So real quick, because we're pushing here on the time, and it's beddy time for me, man. I got to get up at 5:30. So.
So they brought back in the latest update, like Entime was saying, Teostra, he was an Elder Dragon. He was a tough one, so they actually brought back 2 of them at this moment in time. They brought back Kushala.
I hate Kushala.
Like, yeah,
I hate Kushala.
He's
Kushala Deora.
Yep, windy dragon.
I hate him, bro.
Pain.
I hate that monster, bro. No, you don't understand. I hate Kushala. He's like,
yeah, he's brutal.
Dude, he's all wind, and he's just full of. I hate that. I hate the monster, bro. When I saw him announce Sleek, I was upset. Like, I was like, okay, you brought him in and whatever, but this Henry, you don't understand. This his attack is just whirlwinds, bro. He just keeps you from getting into him, and it's just it sucks, bro. The fight
And that's
sucks.
good to see in different characters that specialize in something, right? You just don't want the repetitive get a beat down or
No, yeah, of
No,
course.
no.
you want your
There's
monster to kind of specialize in a
Yeah.
certain.
Yep.
yeah, every monster has specific strengths and weaknesses, and these specific monsters, the Elder Dragons, are typically much uh, more difficult than
Mm-hmm.
the typical monsters you would fight. I mean, like Ann said, the monsters are quicker and they're smarter, but
Mm-hmm.
the fights are
Or faster.
not as long.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're quicker.
Yeah.
But the Apex monsters make up for that, right? So they brought in Apex Rathalos.
Mm-hmm.
I still want to fight him.
Now
So
you said
talking about it makes me want to get
Rathalos.
there.
You said
Yeah.
Rathalos. I say Rathalos.
Yeah, I think it's Rathalos.
Okay. I'm just,
I just
it's okay. Potato.
yeah. But that makes like after talking about this, I'm like, should I just go play for just to get up to Hunter
Yeah,
rank
right.
7?
You just want to jump into there and just.
The game's so good, and then they show you that you need to beat Kushala first, and then you use his stuff, and you can beat Teostra easier. And then when you beat Teostra, you can beat the Chameleon easier, or you can do Chameleon, then Kushala, then Teostra. You know,
Mm.
they show you that circle, and I'm like, okay, that makes more.
Yeah. They definitely have designed the game to make it much more approachable. It's still Monster Hunter. There's still a learning curve, but it definitely is. I don't want to say dumbed down or watered down, but it's much more accessible. The hunts are faster if you're well equipped or even decently equipped. The buffs that you get when you're even on your way to fighting the monsters, like all these things, that if you want a tougher challenge, don't pick up the buffs, but you know, they're there. You know what I'm saying? And but the game is still Monster Hunter, man, and it's a lot of fun. One last
Hey,
thing.
you
Go ahead.
you gotta watch us when we play,
Yeah,
and
right.
then you'll
Stream
you get excited when you see us fight one of like the tougher monsters, but then you'd also probably get the feeling like, they're so far ahead that if I play this game,
Yeah.
I don't even get a taste of those guys until I get up there. But
Mm.
you can get rushed through real easily. I mean, there's people in this game. The community is probably one of the best in any of the gaming communities. They hop in your game, they'll help you. But there are some people who just, you know, it's ridiculous how good they are.
Yeah, they just wreck. Like I
Yeah.
remember one guy's with Kushala, hot air himself. When not fighting the tempered, but just a regular Kushala, and every time that he would try to take to the air, he would just flash him, and he would just fall to the ground. I was like, what? Are you serious? That's all you had to do, just flash him and just continue flashing him, keep him on the ground and just smash his face in. That was great. That was a great thing. But man, we could talk about Monster Hunter all night. I really want to just touch upon one thing before we exit here, and then we're gonna wrap it up, guys. We're coming up on the hour and a half here, literally in seconds. But have any of you guys tried out Xbox from playing Xbox Game Pass games from a browser on iOS? Anybody get invited to the trials?
I did it on a laptop.
Okay.
But and that was cool. But I needed my controller.
Yeah.
Remote, not on a Wi-Fi. Data. And it played well. I just I needed a controller. I forgot to bring a controller.
I hear you. I there's people that are rejoicing, but the trial for iOS and being able to play Game Pass games, that's a big deal. And Xbox, the workaround, because Apple just was like, no, we really want you not to develop that app and put it on our store and this and that, and whatever the conversation was. But Microsoft has found a way around it and said, okay, we'll do it through the browser So through the browser, Game Pass games, even now, even as we're speaking.
That's
And that's a
amazing.
big deal because how many Apple devices are out there?
Too many. I disgust.
Too many. I have I have an Apple desktop, an Apple laptop, but everything else is is Windows, PC, Android. Um, and yeah, but this is definitely a big deal. XCloud, uh, gaming, just keeps getting better. I haven't jumped on XCloud for a while. I think I need to go back to that and just maybe when I'm laying in bed chilling, if I'm not playing Monster Hunter, uh, definitely will try that out. But maybe we can leave it right here, guys. What do you think for this evening? Let's wrap it up. Any parting thoughts that any of you guys have before we wrap it up?
Oh man, I don't know.
Is there?
It's been an exhausting week, and
Yeah, man.
I gotta finish it up tomorrow. I don't know, man. Like, I don't. To be honest with you, I don't even like. Sometimes I don't even feel like playing a game because it's just like
Yeah.
it kind of it sucks you out of what you're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta snap back to reality, and you gotta deal with what you're dealing with, and I don't know. Like it's just been a really, really tough week, and yeah, I've been trying to get my gaming into feel good, but it's just a small distraction. I'm not enjoying it as much as I thought I would.
Mm. It works both ways, right, Daniel? You can either play the game to really disconnect and escape, or not really play the game because you know that that's exactly what you want to do, but life is calling your attention. I mean, it's just I feel you, brother. I haven't like really got into anything myself, like I said at the top. And let's be real, guys. Gaming is supposed to be enjoyed. We're supposed to like, relish in it. It's escapism. But when you can't and other things are calling for your attention, it is
Yeah,
what it is, right? I mean, but we can still
Yeah.
enjoy watching Sleek playing like 5-6 hours during the day while we work, right?
yeah,
I'm just fortunate enough that so while I'm playing, I'm getting my projects done. Um, it's just nice that you know I'm the director, right? I get to
Yeah. No, I hear
shut my
you.
door and just,
I hear you, brother. I'm a director in my job, and
yeah,
when I get the
yeah.
opportunity, I wish I could stream, but I
Oh
bring
yeah,
out my setup with my screen and my switch, and it's a go. It's like
yeah,
I'm playing, and people are passing by, and I'm like, ain't nothing to do. Keep it moving. Don't give me no drama. I'm just buying my time here. Play for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then I'm gone.
yeah.
Uh,
I can see what Hanya's saying. I mean, um, I again, I'm lucky enough, and I'm still doing projects as I'm doing it. Like sometimes you'll see like the screen will just freeze.
yeah.
It's not frozen. It's just me like just running out and going to get like pizza or something.
'Cause,
mm,
yeah, 'cause I've been noticing that since I've used my mobile device to kind of see it because I can't use my desktop, and I'm wondering,
Yeah,
am
mobile.
I in or are they
Ugh.
paused or what?
yeah, same here.
Yeah, usually I'll just like head out. I'm still like playing or whatever, but I'll have to do something real quick. But I've noticed with mobile, um, on Discord, you can watch it, but I- it's as if it's not as. It's like you got to do more steps. I feel like, but you don't. I
Mm,
don't know. It's interesting, but
okay.
oh well. To be
Well,
continued.
to be
Mhm.
continued. I think we'll leave it at that. I hopefully we'll catch you guys on the next one next week. Hopefully Jay will be back. Jay's schedule is gonna change, so we might consider here changing instead of a Thursday over to a Wednesday. But you know, don't know with Jay. And if he just if his schedule just goes haywire and whatever, then we'll just have to kick him out and replace him. Um,
Oh,
nah, we won't do that to Jay. We'll try to make it work here. one way, shape, or form. But that's it, guys. We're gonna wrap it up here for Drama Free Gaming episode 51. Check us out on anchor.fm/DFG podcast and anywhere that you listen to your podcast. I think we're on almost every platform, at least the popular ones that are out there.
Worldwide.
Was that?
Worldwide.
Worldwide, yes. Worldwide. Our reach is long and strong. So yeah, just trying to reach the masses. Guys, share this out. We appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you, guys. Take it easy. Tomorrow is Friday, so make the best of it. Relax and chill. Try not to work too hard. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy your family. Be good. Stay safe. And remember to keep your life and your gaming drama free. Later, people.
Later.
Ciao.